Program Director, thank you very much. Colleagues, good afternoon. As per the introduction, my name is Mnguni, newly employee of Mahlangu Consulting. Today I've been assigned to talk to the leadership issues as they pertain to the finances. What is leadership? Leadership is about everything, man. It's the art of influencing and motivating people to perform in a manner that promotes achievement of common objectives. Some of the qualities that we know about leadership, they include the following. The clarity of purpose. Only an individual with clarity of purpose can inspire, motivate, align people with the vision. So as a leader, you must always make sure that your team is clear in terms of where you're going. If your objective is financial sustainability, each and every member of your team must understand that objective. The issue of consistency and persistence. A person who is consistent in pursuit of the objective conveys a sense of ownership. If you convey a sense of ownership as a leader, then surely your team will follow and then you'll be able to achieve. As a leader, you must be able to adapt and you must be responsive. You must anticipate challenges and learn new ways of responding to change, because we are all in a changing environment. This year I know it's going to be tough with the M-Score implementation for most of the municipalities. That's a change. And I hope as leaders you've anticipated the challenges that will come with that change as far as the audit process is concerned. Collaboration. They say leaders, you are as good as your team and you are as good as the people around you. So leaders who invest time and effort in building networks are more likely to get support from the others. As a finance leader, when you say no to those line departments, you must be able to appreciate your answer and own up and report back to their leaders. So that's why collaboration is important. Adding value, the purpose of the leadership is to develop more leaders. So skills development is critical in terms of us as leaders, because along the way we'll need the youngsters. We are in a changing environment, technology, our reporting framework is changing every year. So we must develop our youngsters so that they are able to take our municipalities or our government forward. Creativity and positivity. These leaders raise energy and excitement levels within the team. Because if your team is not producing or is not working or motivated, you are unlikely to achieve those organizational objectives. Empathy, you must be able to connect and relate with people, because you need people on your side when it comes to making tough calls as far as budget and expenditure management is concerned. Command and authority, you must be able to command your authority as a finance leader. When you have to say no, you must stand by that answer. Some of what makes an effective leader, these are some of the skills that I can highlight. A result-driven leader. You know, our environment is very regulated. So as I said earlier on, the vision must be clear. Everyone in your team must know exactly what's expected by when and how to get to that vision, so that the result can be achieved. As a leader, you must be visionary, and you must inspire confidence within your team, and also not within your team, and also inspire confidence to those colleagues around you, your line department, especially the engineers. You work with the engineers, and I've been around the country since I joined Mahlangu. I think the challenges we're experiencing here in KZN, they are cutting across. You go to Limpopo, you go to Northwest, you go to Gauteng. It's similar challenges. So as leaders in finance, how do we win the other professionals so that we are able to get the result that we want to achieve? Honesty and integrity these days, the debates that are going on about state capture and all those things. As finance officials, leaders, we must always ensure that we lead by example. Our integrity is intact, honesty is number one, so that our teams can also look up to us, and when they have to make tough calls as well, they are consistent in terms of those calls and the calls we make as leaders. People management is all about managing people. Once you're a leader, you can't do everything yourself. Right? So you must be able to delegate, you must be able to coach, you must be able to mentor, so that at the end of the day, we are able to then deliver to our communities. I've already touched on some of the responsibilities that we have as leaders. I've said the vision must be clear, it must be communicated, you must inspire people, you must coach, you must teach, and you must build a strong team that will be able to support you, motivate and mentor, and at the end of the day, you must lead by example. What is expected from effective finance leaders in the finance sector? I think these are some of the areas that we think the expectation out there about us as finance leaders. Finance leaders should play a key role in developing and implementing a strategy. When you go out on a strategy sessions, finance must play a role in terms of inputting, so that we're not seen as people that will be stumbling block when it comes to implementation. Finance must be involved in each and every material decision within the organization. If there is no framework within your organization, we can, as Mahlangu, we can come and help in terms of ensuring that all the key decisions, especially council decisions, are also endorsed by finance before they are being implemented. The finance leader must lead promotion of good financial management across business units, so that public resources are being safeguarded. So it's not only about ensuring that your team within finance is living the best practices in terms of financial management, but your other colleagues as well that are not finance official, you must encourage them to comply with what's expected in terms of best practices regarding financial management. Leading development of medium-term financial strategy, which is in line with your 5-year strategy, is also very key. And that strategy, the team must be on board, otherwise the achievement might be a challenge. Promoting and leading a high standard of ethical behavior, probity, integrity, honesty, I think I've already touched on them. What are the challenges that we do face in our space, in our environment? These are some of the challenges that we think are there. The political instability, that's the elephant in the room. When you're out there for a strategy session and the politicians are with you and they ask questions as to how can we move the organization to the next level. If there is that interference, as officials we've got the responsibility to put this matter on the table. I know it's an elephant in the room, but sometimes it prevents municipalities from achieving what they need to achieve. Disruption caused by technology. I think there is a presentation that was done earlier on. Technology is here to stay, colleagues. And we were engaging as Bona people about 3 weeks ago, looking at 5 to 10 years. And we think technology might replace some of the things that we are currently doing. So we must all prepare ourselves. Technology is there to stay. We must upskill ourselves so that we are not replaced in the near future. The other challenge is a huge competition for unlimited resources. As a finance leader, when you have to say no, you must say no, because if you don't, then the financial sustainability of an organization is at stake. In our environment, there is a challenge as far as ability to attract qualified staff. And this is also exacerbated by the fact that there are political instability in various areas. As a result, qualified people are scared to come into that space. Lack of system integration, which result in inefficiencies in our processes. If systems are not integrated, we're likely to make decisions which are not in line with some of our objectives, because decisions must be informed by data which covers the whole organization. So if we do not have a dashboard, then we're likely not to make a decision which is in the best interest of the organization. Ongoing changes in our environment. I've touched on the issue of M-score, which is a big issue, especially during this audit cycle. Falling revenues, both from grants and consumers. It's tough, colleagues. Consumers are feeling it. The other day we heard that we are in a recession. So the grant, we're likely to see a reduction because National Treasury has to tighten as well. We must be able to command of both technology and finance issues. As I've said, we are in a changing environment. Technology is here to stay, so you must be computer literate, and also as far as finances, you must be technically competent on those issues, so that when you provide advice to departments, that advice later on is not questionable in terms of the accounting rules. You must be able to wear many hats, CFOs or finance leaders. Sometimes we pull into different meetings to represent either accounting office, municipal manager, or even in some cases a line department. So you must be able to talk to the issues, although they are not within your own space. So understanding the organization as a whole is very critical as finance leaders. That's what makes us effective. A motivator, you must be able to motivate your team. I've covered that's one. You must be able to embrace change. Best leaders understand that change is constant, and you must keep a flexible mindset when it comes to updating and doing our policies and practices. The issue of vision, I've talked to it as well. Strong communication abilities. You must be able to lead discussion, even discussions on difficult topics. As a CFO, you must always be able to lead those and make sure that the decisions are always in the best interest of the organization. Interpersonal skills somehow as well is covered, because I said we are as good as our team and we are as good as the people that surround us. If a department makes a commitment without engaging us, it means the municipality or the finance department will have to dig deep in your pocket now to honor that commitment, if legally cannot be challenged. Accessibility, open door policy is a must. Your subordinates and your colleagues online department, they must be able to engage you on any issue. If you allow that, you will avoid decisions that might not be in the best interest of your municipality or your organization. The second last slide from me before I hand over to Felix. A study done by ARCA recently, they highlighted the top 10 priorities of finance leaders, and those include cost reduction, which is very relevant during these tough economic conditions, the issue of forecasting, continuous improvement of our controlled environment, business insights, working capital management, which is very, very important, risk management, financial reporting, improving efficiencies, strategy, and talent management. So those are the top 10 priorities as indicated by the study conducted by ARCA. Let me hand over to Felix. Felix is going to talk to us in terms of what are the solutions that we probably need in terms of technology now going forward. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you. By way of introduction, my name is Felix Mahlangu. I'm the MD of Foresight Innovation, which is a technology partner to Mahlangu Consulting. So the conversations that were taking place yesterday, got me thinking, right? Because I'm an IT practitioner, and most often IT people are guilty of providing solutions that are not really adding value to our clients. And we come at a huge cost. And the cost implications, as we observed in yesterday's presentations, are not just current problems. We were told to respect the cycle, because it's going to come again. So how do we plan for today and beyond? So we've got a couple of opportunities from an IT platform point of view. One that is close to my heart is modernization of business processes. So if you think about it, personally, I've not been inside a bank in the last 4 months, because I've got a bank in my pocket. So these are opportunities that are there. We've done some work for Mahlangu around the asset management processes. We've digitized how we do asset management. So all our consultants now have a mobile app. When they do the review and conditional assessments, they do it on the fly on the app, and the information is available real time to any asset manager that is involved in the process. And these are opportunities that are real, that are happening today. So we've implemented this. So also, I think, which is key, is product versus service. When you're buying software, what are you buying? Licenses are expensive. So do you want to own the license, or do you want to buy a service that you can discontinue if you don't use it? So for example, we were trying to buy a Microsoft Office product for one of our new employees. The price came back as 3,000. But if you buy that same license as a service from Microsoft directly, you pay 89 rands a month. So, but the way we source software needs to change. I mean, I think CFOs need to be advised properly in terms of how to procure IT products. We should talk about accessibility and mobility. I mean, cell phones have given us a great opportunity to do a lot of things. But one question that always comes to mind is, how do we deal with the data issue? So, but what we were able to do, and I think a whole lot more other technology people are able to do, is to provide functionality that is offline. So for example, if you've got people that are doing asset verification in highly rural areas where there's no connectivity, how do they do it? Do you want them to use paper still? No. There's chances that there's products that allow you to do conditional assessments offline, and then you can sync back your data when you're back to a connected platform. Customization for me is key. If you buy software traditionally, they would tell you 80% fit of your process is fair enough. But what about the other 20 that you're paying for? We need to be able to, as practitioners, give you value. 100% fit is possible, given the technologies that we have today. 100% fit should be a non-negotiable. That's where your ROI comes from. From a data management point of view, I think everybody knows what data is. But the kind of reports that I've seen across organizations have remained static for 10 years, 20 years. And what is the value of a report that is 10 years old? Because the thinking is different, the processes are different, the legislation is different. So you need to get to a point where you can personalize your data. So I think the approach really for this is, one, I think Mr. Puma yesterday said cloud technology is here, and I think we've all at some level been in touch with it, whether knowingly or not. It provides mobility, access, software as a service, and then you must, when you're sourcing this IT platform, you must look for open design, because sometimes you're buying an isolated product, but at a later stage you need to talk to your existing platforms. If those platforms are not open enough, then what do you do? You need to be building interfaces and integration, which also comes at a cost. I've spoken briefly about data and connectivity and customizable platforms. In conclusion, just to wrap up the presentation, yesterday we had a very energetic journey that we were taken through our esteemed colleague here about leading by example. And I think that for me summed up the day. Keeping abreast of technology, it's non-avoidable. Going forward, technology is the key to innovate.